Turn a comic book series called Dumb, D-U-M-B, as a medium to tell the story of this prolonged voice loss and how she's turned that into something that she can actually champion and advocate for. So, Georgia Webber, would you please make your way to the stage?
Yeah,
Give her a
but
round of applause.
I don't want to. We're talking about voicelessness. We need to make some space. Can we bring the volume down a little bit in the room?
Yeah, we're gonna need some.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 2 1 2 1 2 yo 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 1 1 2 Georgia Webber in the house. Yeah, there you go.
Hannah Shauna, will you please make your way to the stage? And Jammin' Noel and his mom, please make your way to the stage. That's Hannah Shauna and Jammin' Noel and his mom. Grab a microphone. Thank you. Who's first? Hey.
Yeah, so Georgia asked us to communicate without speaking at all, so we could, I think, mouth things or write, which my mom and I chose to we wrote to each other.
Mom?
So it was really a unique experience because, you know, he's my son, so I have this wonderful connection with him already, but not ever had that kind of connection where we were almost anticipating what we were reading, you know, before we even wrote it. So that was really special.
Yeah, I felt like it involved a lot of patience, but it felt rewarding in a way.
For me, I think I had more things to say to Shauna when I was silent on paper. I had more things to write than to actually tell her. So.
What's your experience like when you meet someone for the first time?
Well, I met a bunch of people for the first time tonight while I wasn't talking. I actually want to invite, in case any of those people are out there now but not on this stage and have questions for me about that. Yeah, I'm curious to know what that's like for you, actually. But it's a little bit easier to meet people for the first time when I'm not talking, because then they don't have to sort of reverse the experience of normalcy. Like, if I'm not speaking when we first meet, then they kind of have to adjust. They have to figure that out on the spot. And from then on, if they have a chance to talk to me with my voice, it's much easier. And they're like, oh, I know how this goes. But if I start by speaking, then it's a lot more, you can see like gears working, and they trip up and have to remember to look at me. And it's just a lot more work on top of the work of being comfortable getting to know somebody. You can think of anything.
I'm just wondering, when we were listening to the beautiful voices up here, what were you thinking?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of like, wow, this is what it could do. This is so incredible to hear those boundaries stretched and expanded. And also, I know I can't do that. I know my limitations. Some not here tonight so far, but sometimes when I'm listening to live music as part of my job, hearing the way people are using their voices is physically painful for me, not in my throat, but more like my guts, my body. I'm just like, oh, how can you do that? And sometimes being in a loud space, just listening to people talk beyond their capacity, we move into loud spaces and automatically adjust our own volume and often don't realize that we're even doing it. But I hear that you're yelling, and it's hard, it's harsh for me, but I also feel a sympathy in my throat. So tonight was more like an appreciation rather than that kind of clenched feeling. Is really, really powerful. If anyone else has a question, I'd be happy to answer. I think we might be, getting one from Sho, or the time clock?
Both. Yes,
Okay,
beautiful.
great.
Can we have another round of applause for Georgia Webber?
Oh, great. Just like another slide that says just like, thanks. And then I have some photos.
Thank you so much, Hannah, Joel, Mom. Yeah, I do have a question. I mean, considering that you're on the opposite end of the spectrum of so many other traditional forms and extensive forms with the voice, and so we're using all these different strategies to achieve these extended techniques, and I'm curious as to what sort of strategies you use and you have to take into consideration as you use your voice every day, and how that becomes a part of a larger platform, considering also your Festival of the Vocal Arts in Canada. Do you want to tell us a little about, well, actually,
Yeah.
both of those?
Yeah. I'll start answering the first part of the question, and then I have a couple of photos to show you from our first MA event. So The vocal strategies that I employ range anywhere from planning my day in the morning as I wake up and how do I feel right now. If I'm feeling extra tense, that tension translates to my throat very quickly, so I have to know the plans I made might not go the way I planned them, and I might need to actually drop that plan with someone because it's between two other obligations that I have that will use my voice really heavily, so I'm going to need to rest. So simple stuff like that, kind of logistical planning, and then also I do the same things that you do when you're performing. I'm standing here trying to feel my body, feel my diaphragm, notice how air is moving in and out of me, where my shoulders are. Some I can't be tracking at all times, but I'm doing my best. And I have to be okay with pain when it's there and okay with the things like that tension that I can't necessarily just, switch off. So then there's performing capacities, kind of like this, where being amplified is my favorite thing. I don't have to work nearly as hard, and all of you have been so quiet, and it's been really, really nice. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if my slide friend could just click me forward till we see some of the Ma stuff. It should just be like 2 or 3 slides ahead of this. Yeah, so I mean, this was part of the poster for the first event that we did on World Voice Day, which is April 16th.
Also your birthday, right?
So it's also my birthday. Which is just whatever. There's me being weird on the stage. So yeah, this was my friend Amala. She's a sound healer, so she was doing some vocal work in the room around the energy of people's relationships to their voices, which there were a lot of wonderful reactions to. This was a Meredith Monk piece being performed. If you don't know Meredith Monk, get on that. It was my friend Zoe just doing her wild, like, operatic, dark sort of improv stuff. It was amazing. And yeah, a beautiful duet with Robin Dan and Tom Gill from the band Bernice, another thing I recommend you check out. It's a Toronto thing. Rosalie Spence gave us some songs she composed that were based on indigenous vocables, one that her grandmother taught her and one she actually wrote for her grandmother after she died. And this is our next event. This is December 17th, and I'm so excited.
Who's that guy?
We got
that
some,
guy? I don't know
some
who that
weirdos
is.
coming up from Baltimore or something.
Yeah, so Max, Ben, who was here on stage earlier with D.O.A, Window, myself, and Chuck, we're gonna just road trip it up to Toronto. Since you came all the way down from Toronto, so we can only but return the favor and the love and go up to Toronto, get on the mic and go. Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, you show me how to do that when you're up there.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. We'll work on that. Actually, that'd be interesting to teach you how to beatbox.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Might be very painful.
So go ahead, please, go ahead.
I'm just going to say thanks for giving me a little time for total silence during this event. Thank you, Shodekeh.
Georgia, brother, thank you so much for coming down.
Great. We will be back in 5 minutes with the second half of Embody 2017 at WTMD.
Beautiful, thank you.